What's up, guys? CJ from Team Millennium Ninja back with another installment of Part 6, and we're talking about episode 22 today, getting pretty close to the endgame of Part 6, with only a couple weeks left before it wraps up, presumably, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing weekly videos like this after that, but let me know in the comments any ideas you guys might have for stuff you want to see going forward, like maybe covering another show weekly or something like that, or if you'd rather I just focus the time on my bigger videos. Either way, make sure to let me know in the comments, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. But now let's get into today's episode, which I thought was going to be another one-off based on the trailer from last week, but boy was I pleasantly surprised when freaking Tomoe showed up. And up front, I'm just going to say this episode was awesome. It was really well done, and thank God it was, because it had to be after those last couple of episodes that we got. The episode starts off with us checking in on the Lupin gang, where Lupin is, I assume, researching Tomoe, as they don't outright state it, which I thought was great specifically because of my expectation for this episode to be a one-off, making it all the more surprising when it actually turned out to tie back into the main plot later. And I don't know if it was by design or by accident, but it was a great way to use this formula they've come up with. Though while saying that, I also acknowledge that it wouldn't have been hard to assume that this was a plot-related episode based on the pattern so far. But my assumption was that this and the next episode were going to be one-offs, and then they would end the season with the two plot episodes. And I could not be happier that that is not the case. Now, after a check-in with the boys, we meet a new girl who's traveling to a place called Ravonland, where she's trying to investigate her mother, as she tragically passed away shortly after giving birth to her. And she does this while staying with an old couple that her mother used to live with as well, with the old man being nice and warm and the old woman seeming detached and unsettled. Not gonna lie, they kind of creeped me out a little bit in this episode. I was just waiting for the old lady to snap and just start strangling Finn. Finn, by the way, being the young girl at the center of the episode, and as she reads her mother's diary and asks the old couple questions about her mother, she soon finds out that she had a special tutor before she died. And I think you all know where this is going. That's right, it was Tomoe. Turns out she wasn't only the tutor for Finn's mom as well, she was also the tutor for her mom, Finn's grandma, which is very interesting and raises a couple questions to me, like, does this mean that Finn's family has some kind of special connection to Tomoe? And if so, how and why? And if Tomoe is still alive, does that mean she should have tutored Finn as well? Which kind of leads me to believe that she isn't actually alive and we might have another Raven situation going on here. But there's no way they'd be bold enough to use the same ending for both seasons in the same part, right? Right? Either way, I'm just hoping that with all this setup, they do have a decent way to cap it off in the end. And getting back to the episode, most of it's just spent on Finn going through her mom's diary and listening to old tapes of her mom, where we get to learn a decent bit about her love life, which I honestly didn't care about at all. But interspersed are bits and pieces of her talking to Tomoe, which not only do I care about, but so do Lupin and Mateya. And one thing that I thought was pretty cool in this episode was Finn broadcasting the tapes over a phone on some kind of app. It felt like something that somebody would really do in this day and age, kind of similar to a vlog or something of that nature, where she's documenting her investigation of her mom online, which is once again something I can imagine happening, but also can imagine being interested in following something like that. So I thought it was a great way of connecting Lupin and Mateya to the plot. And though we still don't know exactly what the deal with Mateya is, it seems from a part in Finn's mom's story that Tomoe has like brainwashed agents that will kill people for her, or maybe even more than that. But I guess making the connection, Mateya would probably be one of those still operating, which is another thing that gives me pause because of its similarity to the Raven story. But thankfully, because of Finn's broadcast bringing Lupin and Mateya to her, Lupin's able to save her at the end of the episode when she starts having a panic attack or something. And it might have been a subconscious reaction based on what Tomoe was doing on the tape, or I might just be reading a little too much into things and she just got too invested in what was happening and it caused her to freak out. Either way, Lupin ends up saving the day, and because of the attack, the elderly lady comes back to her senses and stops living in the past, able to properly meet Finn for the first time, which got me a little bit, not gonna lie. It was a really nice moment, and I honestly didn't expect it to be as emotional as it was for me. It was a nice way to cap off the episode, and I hope we'll get to see some more Finn in the future. Speaking of which, we got a special cameo from Ling Fang Wang this episode, which I think is the first time any of the one-off characters have actually made it into the main plot so far, which I thought was great and shows how they've been underutilizing them so far. Because when Wang came up, I was hype, and the best part about it is it was like 30 seconds. So it's not like every one-off character has to come back and make meaningful contributions to the plot. Just pick one or two and bring them back for some quick stuff here or there, and it easily enhances the episode. Although, of course, we still have to like them in the first place. Like, if Muru showed up in the main plot, I wouldn't care at all. Amelia, though, might be interesting to see again, since she was in the first episode of the season, in addition to all the other one-off ladies, besides Muru, though. How about that? And not a lot of Zenigata in this one outside of the Wang cameo, with Yada and Ari nowhere to be seen, so we still don't know exactly what happened with Ari yet. But what we do know is that next week we'll be picking up right where we left off, and after this week's solid return to form, I can't wait to see what happens next, and I hope to see you guys there. This has been CJ from Team Millennium Ninja, headed back to the village, hidden in the internet.